welcome to Scavenger Workshop. Today we're going to go over the basic assembly of the Scavenger Ghostbusters trap. Okay, so when you order your parts from the water jet company, they're going to arrive like this. They're just going to be flat pieces of aluminum designed to go together without any kind of welding or whatnot, and I'll show you how to assemble it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to get this piece right here, and it has a little slot for this retention nut. You're going to place the retention nut in there, stack it on top of this part, and then stack this part on top of that. You'll notice on both sides there's going to have a little square recess in there. That's to keep the nut in place. If you want, you guys can fill that in with a little bit of Bondo and smooth it before you paint it. But once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to countersink where these holes are, so the holes are flush. You don't have to countersink them, but if you do, it looks a little bit cleaner. You're going to put your nuts all the way through, your bolts all the way through, and then you're going to put a nut on the back just to keep it from moving. All right. Now, if you guys want, you can put a little bit of JB Weld in between this, or some E6000. That'll keep it from shifting when you guys sand it and spray paint it. That's entirely up to you. Okay, once this piece has been assembled, we're going to go ahead and grab the let's see, where is the frame piece? Okay, I see it. Be right back. This is this is part of the frame. What you're gonna do is there's gonna be a notch right here. You're gonna slide it into this notch like this way, all the way forward, right? And then you're gonna get, this is your uprights for your door. That's gonna slide through these square slots like this. So far, that's your assembly. All of these little spaces right here, these are for M4 nuts. You'll slide a little M4 nut in each one of these little slots like this. That way, when you put the sides on, you can put a 12 millimeter M4 screw right through the side. That'll retain all this stuff, hold it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble it without the nuts, so that way we can move a little bit quicker on this. So the next part you're going to want to do is you're going to put this aside. You're going to get your side panels here. These, I've already screwed the little 1.6 millimeter plates onto this side panel. Then you're going to want to screw it onto these panel here, and there's recesses for the nuts on the back once it's assembled, so you can go ahead and put the nuts on the back to keep it all together. Okay, part of your kit is going to come with a flat plate like this. It has little hash marks in it where you need to bend this plate, so that way it bends in a proper place. It was hard for me to bend a 3D printed one, but I bent it just enough to give you guys a visual on how it will be. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to screw this bottom piece on here, right? If it's bent correctly, everything should line up correctly. Okay? And then once this is screwed in, you're gonna countersink these holes, and once this is screwed in, you're gonna drop it in onto this piece like this, right? And then after that, you can go ahead and add your sides. So the sides are simply gonna snap into place like this. You need to have this piece on as well. Which one is it? It's this one. That's was an old part. So you want to have this piece on as well, like that. Snap it in place. And then you want to get your other side and snap that into place as well. Let's see here. Yeah, I have to back these screws off just a tad because they're a little long. I ran out of the shorter screws to show this, the assembly on this, so just keep in mind that you have to have the right size screws because it's very limited on space on the inside. All right, so now it should pop up. If you notice, like I said, there's these little holes in here where you're gonna put nuts in there, right? And I would just use like a temporary hot glue or something just to hold the nuts in place so that way they don't fall out while you're trying to assemble it. And then that pieces together like that. See? And then you'll have your screws in. Of course, you can do the assembly. You'll have to add these side plates on after you put this on because otherwise you wouldn't be able to access those screws. So I kind of did that backwards, but it is what it is. Next thing you want to do is drop it onto your bottom plate here. So line up these little marks, and once again, there's little places for some nuts to slide in there. Once it's lined up, it's gonna pop in like that. On the bottom, you're gonna countersink these little holes here, drop your screws in, that's gonna hold it. Countersink these holes, drop your screws in. That's gonna hold everything together solid. Even without the screws, this thing is pretty solid. So at this point, you should have your back piece on like this, and then you can go ahead and drop your electronics in there and drop this piece on the top. And this piece will have your lights and your switch on it. And then this piece here, it has these little holes. You're gonna get these little pins from McMaster Carr, right? And you're gonna put some JB Weld metal glue along this and in these holes, and then slide it on top of this and let these pins set. Once the pins set and the glue sets, this piece is not going anywhere. Same thing with your door pieces. They come into two parts. I'm gonna put some holes here for some pins, and then you JB weld it, and then your doors are gonna go on top like so. And the doors will marry up just fine, right? So there's the doors. I haven't finished the back piece yet. I'm still designing that. So far, this is where it is. When you put your handle on, there's gonna be a hole in the tube that you get, and then the screw will just drop in through here and screw down, and that'll hold your handle on. And that's pretty much it, right? That's gonna be the scavenger trap. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple.